F.Patenaude from rawvegan.com, and I'm here in Costa Rica in Uvita with Dr. Graham, and we're going to be talking about what's new and what's good and what's bad in the raw food movement. Well,
sure.
How does it feel to be here?
Feels great. I love it in Costa Rica. I mean, I look up, I see my farm up on the hills, the beach is a half a mile away, the temperature's perfect, the food is great. I love it here.
Good time
People
to
are
spend
wonderful.
the winter.
Yeah, winter in Costa Rica is the way to go.
We've seen like a tremendous interest around your book of 80-10-10 diet since it came out, and the 80-10-10 diet was amazing before the book came out, and then suddenly everybody knows about it. Everybody's talking about it. Can you talk about the successes you've had with the book since it's been published?
Well, sure. The book is interesting because it's the 9th book I've written, and the first few I thought would take the world by storm. They really didn't. But finally, when I let go of all that and just wrote the book, this book was not really written for the raw food movement, although we hope that people in the raw food movement would at least want to know. A lot of people in the raw food movement have taken a look at it, and from what I've been able to see and going to all the festivals around the world, the 80-10-10 segment of the raw food movement is the most rapidly growing segment of the raw food movement there is. I mean, it's the only part that's really growing. The rest is kind of a lot of people going in and a lot of people going out.
Yeah.
But the people start on 80-10-10, it works, they keep working it, and that segment is growing. But the book wasn't really written for raw fooders, so the book was written to reach out to the mainstream population, and that's what we're trying to do, is to let the world know about this, not just the raw food world. So this is what we're seeing happen, is that once we released the book to Amazon, and they started buying books, and then they started buying cases per month, and then cases per week, and now cases per day. It's a good thing. Amazon is getting the word out, that people are interested, and what we're seeing is that you don't have to be a raw fooder to try 80-10-10, but once you try the program, it works so well that you become a raw fooder. So I'm happy to become a raw fooder, but that really wasn't my point. My point was to get people to live healthfully so that they could be happy and be forces for good in the world. Raw food is certainly a part of healthful living, but it's only a part. And as I explained in 80-10-10, there's some 32 facets to healthful living, and food is just one of them. But I'm thrilled to see the success, because it just means that more and more people are becoming healthy as a result of following the program.
You said that a lot of people are coming in the raw food movement and leaving. Can you define that a little bit?
Well, 7 or 8 years ago, there were 10 major raw food events across the United States during the course of a summer, and all of them were large, and several of them had more than 1,000 people, and since that time the numbers have really crashed. The number of events has gone down, the number of people attending events has gone down, while the internet's making raw food ever more accessible. The number of people coming in, I think, is probably greater than ever. But when you try a program, when you're trying to, it's like looking for your car keys, basically. If you look for your car keys and you go, oh, maybe they're in the drawer, and you go look there, and you go, nope, not there. Well, then you go somewhere else. And sure, you're going to keep looking until you find your car keys. In this case, with diets, with food programs, with environmental issues or sustainability, where you can start to feel good about what you're doing as your part. People come into raw food thinking it's the greatest, then they start seeing, oh, well, I'm buying products from all over the world. We're getting things dehydrated and shipped and then rehydrated, and we're told it's super. But we also know that fruits and vegetables are the original health foods. And so I see a tremendous number of people come to me and say, look, I tried the raw food thing, it didn't work. And I try to explain to them the responsibility, the personal responsibility of saying, it works, but you have to work it properly. And so with 80-10-10, I'm watching people come in. We have a very clear program on my website through the book explaining what makes this program work. There's a lot of support through various boards and whatnot, and so I'm seeing people come into 80-10-10 and they just take it on board and run with it. Whereas with raw foods, I see a lot of people say, I tried raw foods, but no. So the attrition rate in the mainstream raw food movement is exceptionally high. Some of those people eventually give 80-10-10 a try, but a lot of people have been scared away from even trying 80-10-10 from the stories they've heard. And it's been funny because I've spoken to essentially all the raw food leaders. I've had one so far tell me that they ever read my book.
What is the 80-10-10 diet in a nutshell for people maybe who are new and just heard of it?
I call the 80-10-10 diet the species-specific diet. It's sort of like the science diet for humans, but it's the most delicious foods rather than dog food. So some people said, oh, don't use that science diet idea, but it is. It's a species-specific diet. It takes a look at our anatomy, our physiology. It evaluates how we're made and what our chemistry says we're designed to eat, and then takes on board the science that supports that anatomy and physiology and biochemistry and says, oh yeah, by the way, fruits and vegetables are our natural health foods. They are the most nutritious foods for us. By most nutritious, however, it doesn't mean the foods with the highest number of nutrients. It means the foods whose nutrient content most closely matches our nutrient needs. And so this is why fruits and vegetables are considered to be health foods, not because they're the highest in this or the highest in that, but because they have everything that we need in the quantities that we tend to need them. And this makes a food a health food. So 80-10-10 is a very, very simple concept. I didn't design the concept. All I did was take the concept that scientists have already explained through studies that have gone on since the 50s that say that when our protein intake exceeds 10% of calories, there's going to be predictable health decline. And when our fat intake exceeds 10% of calories, not only do we lose the ability to uptake, transport, and deliver oxygen and fuel to our cells, which leads to diseases such as heart disease, cancer, diabetes, chronic fatigue, candida, digestive disorders, and a huge number of what are known as the autoimmune syndromes. But at the same time, we end up with predictable health decline. And so 80-10-10 is simply a matter of defining what is the ratio of carbohydrates to fats to proteins level at which we will thrive. It's not the target, 80-10-10. 80-10-10 defines the borders or the boundaries. You want to stay above 80% of your calories from carbs, below 10% from protein and fat.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. They say, oh, I can't get 10%
exactly
protein
and
from your diet.
We're not shooting for 10%. We're saying that 10% is the upper limit. You do not want to exceed this because your kidneys will fail, your liver is going to have problems, you're going to show autoimmune deficiencies, you're going to end up with a host of problems from MS to multiple muscular dystrophy. It goes on and on and on through the high protein disorders.
Where can people find out about the 80-10-10 diet and what you're doing?
If you want to find out more about the 80-10-10 diet, you can go to Food and Sport. We've got the largest FAQ on the web for raw foods. We've got tons of raw support there. A bunch of information, articles of all kinds. A lot of interviews with people who are sharing their experiences, and we're happy to give it away.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Freddie.
All right.